Welcome to Brothers of the Word, because, brother, you need the Word. And recently I was going to a Springs, which is about an hour's drive away from Atlanta. And the reason that I was going there is an oil that God has laid upon my heart to produce and make available to the people. God heals oil. And one of the many parts that God says must be done with this oil, it has to be placed in a stream of clean running water for at least an hour. So I actually knew where the stream was. They're healing waters. People actually go there to get the water to drink. And I even send someone down from my company every week to get several gallons of this water to bring back. But there's a stream that runs right by the highway that the water flows over the rocks. It's beautiful. And I wanted to just go down and make sure that the brothers of the Word could take the oil and sit it in the stream. So I went there. I just took off and drove. And as I was standing by the stream, I sat there for about an hour and just watched it, and just the peace and the cleanliness of the water and the surroundings. Well, they also have the fountain where you go and you can get water to drink. And I had a bottle, a 1.5 liter bottle of water, and I just poured it out so I can get me some fresh spring water, the healing water. And there's a little building that you go down to where the spring is. And when I walked there, there was one man who was there, and people come to get this water from all over the state. And he was there, and he had these crates that had about 12 or 15 gallons in these crates. And normally the way that it works, you can get 2 gallons at a time, and then you have to let someone else take a turn. But oftentimes if a person comes in with just 1 gallon and there's somebody there, they'll say, look, you go ahead and fill yours up because I got all these gallons. So when I walked in, I had my little water bottle in my hand, and I told the man, I said, I saw he had all these crates of jugs there, and half of them were filled up. I knew he'd been there a minute. No one was there but us. And I said, look, I only have just this one little bottle. And I thought he would say, well, since you only have one little bottle, as soon as that's filled up, go ahead and get your water and when I said, I only have this one little bottle, and he looked at me, he said, you gotta wait. You gotta wait your turn. You ain't gonna jump in front of me. You gotta wait. It kind of shook me and took me aback just a little bit. And I said, well, okay, that's fine. I said, I'm sorry, I'm in absolutely no hurry. And I wasn't. I'd been sitting out there by the stream for the last hour. So it wasn't like I was in any kind of hurry. So I said, that's fine. I said, and I saw he had all, I said, well, can I fill it up right after that one? He said, no. He said, no. He said, I get to fill up 2 gallons, and then you can fill up yours. He said, because I know the rules, and see, it starts counting when you walk in. So when you walk in, my 2 gallons start then. And I was thinking to myself, I said, this is the rudest, most obnoxious man I have ever seen. And I told him, I said, well, actually, the rules state, because it says you take turns 2 gallons. It doesn't say it begins the minute I walk in. So I said, but I'm in no hurry. I said, I'm in no hurry at all. I said, just go ahead and fill up, and I can wait. Amen. So he filled up his 2 gallons, and he said, all right, go get your water now. So I went up and I filled up my little 1.5 quart worth of water, and I stood back, and I actually, see, it's best to drink the water fresh. It's got this strong sulfur smell. So I actually stood there, and I drank about 25 ounces of the water then. So I had about half a bottle empty of my 1.5 quart bottle there. So I told the man, I said, well, you mind if I refill this up? He said, no. He said, you gotta wait. You ain't gonna get no water. So, and he just went to ranting and raving. So finally, when he had filled up his, he pulled his back. He said, now go on, get your water. Go on, get it. And by that time, to be honest about it, that man was making me mad. Sometimes you can get restless in a restful place. You don't understand what here I was, the day was a beautiful day, sun shining, water flowing, everything peaceful. But this man was getting under my skin. So finally, here I am with my little half. He's got all them 15 jugs over there. Here I am with my little half a quart to fill up. And he finally told me, well, go and get your water. And I found I was just getting upset with the man. I found what I said, look, man, I said, you need more than water. I told him that right off the bat. I said, you need more than water. The man was just getting me upset. And we started having an exchange. I said, you don't have to be this nasty just about this little boy. I said, what's wrong with you? And he said, ain't nothing wrong with me. I ain't got to be nice to folk. And he was just nasty. So we went out and found out, I said, man, look, you have a blessed day. He said, I already got a blessed day. I said, so it was just, that man had me walking out of there. It was just literally, and when I was driving back, I heard God speak to me. He said, you have encountered a demon incarnate, which is a demonic spirit in a fleshly body, whether it's manifest or whether it's just in somebody. He said, you have encountered a demon incarnate. And he said, and this is what you have to understand. You have to be prepared to face demons in unexpected places. Because you see, here I am, of all the places, and I've been there, I've been going there getting that water for years. My father used to take us there to get there. Every time, the people are so nice and courteous. Sometimes you don't expect a demon in a nice place. But you know, you got to even be prepared to expect some demons in the church. You do not think it's not like it is in the vampire movies when the vampire couldn't cross the threshold of the church. No. Because remember, Satan took Jesus to the top of the temple to tempt him. Not only was he in the temple, he was at the top of the temple. And over in Mark, in that first chapter, beginning at the 23rd verse, it says this, and there was in their synagogue a man with an unclean spirit, and he cried out, saying, let us alone. What have we to do with thee, thou Jesus of Nazareth? Art thou come to destroy us? I know thee who thou art, the Holy One of God. And Jesus rebuked him, saying, hold thy peace. In other words, shut up and come out of him. And when the unclean spirit had torn him and cried with a loud voice, he came out of him, and they were all amazed, insomuch that they questioned among themselves, saying, what thing is this? What new doctrine is this? For with authority commanded he even the unclean spirits, and they do obey him. And immediately his fame spread abroad throughout all the region round about Galilee. There was a demon in the church. And not only was it a demon, the man had multiple demons, because he said us. And the people in the church knew it. They weren't surprised. Because usually when a demon got a hold of somebody, you know it. Especially the person sitting next to them. They knew it. You've got to be prepared for demons in unexpected places. But that's not really what I want to talk to you about for these few minutes that are left. I don't really want to talk to you about demons. I want to talk to you about how to handle yourself when you are around something that potentially could upset you. And I want to focus on one thing. Proverbs 21:23. This one thing, that if you can get this one principle down, it will have a strong potential of changing your relationship and making your life so much smoother. If you can just get this one principle down of Proverbs 21:23. And Proverbs 21:23 says this: whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. Let me put it like, let me read it from the NIV version. He who guards his mouth and his tongue keeps himself from calamity. Let me read it from the NET version. The one who guards his mouth and his tongue keeps his life from troubles. The Message Bible puts it this way: watch your words and hold your tongue. You'll save yourself a lot of grief. So Proverbs 21:23 basically says trouble, calamity, and grief all comes from your words. There are times, people, when we have to learn how to hold our words and how to hold our tongue. Now, we have makeup put on before service because we're on television. You have the bright lights. You have to have makeup on if you're on television. I don't like makeup, but you got to wear it if you're on television. There's no two ways about it. So now we have gone to a new makeup system, and the makeup artist uses an airbrush. And the airbrush sprays the makeup on, so I don't want to breathe it. None of my other brothers want to breathe it, so we have to hold our breath while we're getting the makeup on. Now the problem is, see, Elijah and James, they can't hold their breath as long as I can. I can hold my breath for a good solid 2 minutes. They need to breathe after about 20, 30 seconds. I can hold my breath much longer, but I can't hold my words longer than they can. See, I can hold my breath much longer, but they have much better control of their temper than I do. Sometimes, just like that man down at the springs, I told that man, you need more than water. And when I told him, I didn't say it with, look, gentlemen, I think you might, no, I didn't say it like that. I told that man with a strong, stern voice and looked him dead in the eye. I said, yeah, and I was struck. He could tell I wasn't kidding. I had the stance that said, if you want to take it further than this, I'm ready. That stuff it's all in your stance and how you look at a person. So he could tell it wasn't just what I said, it was how I said it. I mean, and I was ready for this man. In fact, sometimes you have to deal with I'm kind of like Malcolm X. You got to talk the language a man understands. And whatever language he was ready to speak, I was going to talk with him. So he understood what I meant. So even though I can hold my breath longer, I cannot hold my words longer. I'm working on that. For the longest, I have had one of those excitable, emotional tempers that just flares up. So I have been working on getting. See, Elijah never gets upset. James never gets upset, but stuff can tick me off. And I would just tell folks some stuff when they tick me off. So I'm having to work on that. That's an area that I need strengthening up and shoring up in, just in the ability, not in holding my breath, but in holding my tongue. And the principle of Proverbs 21:23 of whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from trouble. I want to sum up that principle in the title of today's message. And the title of today's message is simply Wait 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait 8. And I want you to understand simply the principle of Wait 8.
Hallelujah. Brothers of the word, when the voice of God is heard, brothers of the word, there's a word from God for everyone. Brothers of the word, because brother, you need the word. Brothers of the word. Brothers of the word.